China-America keep fighting. India's treasury keeps filling E8 key benefits. Imagine a time when two superpowers, the United States and China, are locked in a fierce battle for global dominance. Both economic giants are waging a trade war against each other, slapping heavy tariffs on each other's goods, and as a result, global markets are in turmoil. Now imagine a third country, one that isn't involved in the fight, not scheming or interfering, but quietly reaping the biggest benefits. This isn't a fantasy, it's reality, and that country is India. Today, as the two strongest economies in the world engage in strategic warfare, India has been presented with a historic economic opportunity. This is more than just about filling a market gap. It's a chance to strengthen India's entire economic structure. And the biggest catalyst behind this opportunity? A sharp decline in crude oil prices. When US President Donald Trump announced the imposition of tariffs against China, it had a direct impact on the international market. Crude oil prices saw a drop of up to 15%. Brent crude has now come down to around $60 per barrel and WTI is near $57. This is the same oil that was once a burden on India's economy, but today, that very oil is proving to be more precious than gold for India. And this isn't the first time. During the COVID pandemic, when the world came to a standstill, oil prices had fallen to historic lows. At that time, too, India had taken advantage of it. But today's situation is even more favorable because this time, it's not just about lower prices, but also about India's growing global role. India is the third largest oil importer in the world. We import nearly 85% of our crude oil requirements from other countries. This directly means that if oil becomes cheaper, the burden on the country's finances is reduced. And that's exactly what's happening now. When the whole world is worried, India is smiling. This is a window of opportunity for India, which, if used in the right direction, can give a new path to the economy. Now let's understand what benefits India is getting from this and how a conflict taking place thousands of kilometers away is bringing prosperity to our homes. But before that, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you get the latest updates on all our new videos. So let's begin today's discussion without any delay. The first and most direct benefit is a significant reduction in the import bill. In the fiscal year 2022-23, India imported around 232 million tons of crude oil, which cost approximately $158 billion. Now imagine, even if the price of oil drops by $10 per barrel, India could save up to $15 billion annually. This is no small amount. With this savings, India can fund multiple infrastructure projects in a year or bring major improvements in sectors like education and healthcare. This saving directly eases pressure on the central government's budget and can be used to build everything from village roads to digital infrastructure across the country. The second major benefit is improvement in the current account deficit, CAD. India's CAD has always been a concern for the government and the Reserve Bank. This deficit represents the difference between what we earn from exports and what we spend on imports. When oil becomes cheaper, our import expenses decrease and the CAD narrows. According to experts, every $1 drop in crude oil prices can reduce the current account deficit by $1.5 to $1.6 billion. This is an important indicator that India's economy is becoming more self-reliant and balanced. As a result, India's credibility improves in the eyes of global rating agencies, and the country becomes eligible for loans at lower interest rates. Third major benefit is control over inflation. Crude oil is not just a commodity, it's the backbone of nearly every sector. When petrol and diesel prices rise, transportation becomes expensive. And when transport costs go up, the prices of everything else, from vegetables to medicines to FMCG products, also rise. In 2022, when oil prices were at their peak, India's wholesale price index, WPI, inflation crossed 12%. But now, with crude oil prices falling, it's expected that both the consumer price index, CPI, and WPI will decline. This will bring direct relief to the common man, who is already struggling with monthly rising expenses. The fourth benefit is reduced pressure on the fiscal deficit. Every year, the government provides massive subsidies on fertilizers and gas, especially for the poor and farmers. When oil is cheaper, the burden of these subsidies automatically reduces. The government doesn't have to spend as much, and the saved funds can be redirected to education, healthcare, and rural development. For the fiscal year 2024-25, the government has set a fiscal deficit target of 5.1% of GDP. If oil prices continue to stay low, the government could even outperform this target, which would send a very positive signal to foreign investors. The fifth benefit is a stronger rupee. When a country spends less on dollars, the value of the rupee strengthens against the dollar. In 2022, when oil prices soared, the rupee had fallen to 83 rupees per dollar. But now, as crude oil prices decline, demand for the dollar reduces, leading to greater stability in the rupee's value. A stronger rupee not only makes foreign trade cheaper, but also boosts the confidence of foreign investors. A strong currency is seen as a sign of economic stability. The sixth benefit is growth in domestic consumption. When petrol, diesel, and LPG prices fall, people are left with more money in their pockets. That extra cash is often spent on clothing, children's education, or entertainment. This increases market demand, boosts company sales, and leads to new job opportunities. This cycle helps maintain the pace of GDP growth and fuels the country's economic engine. What's most important is that rural India, which suffers the most from inflation, receives the biggest relief from this. The seventh benefit goes to specific sectors whose major operating costs are linked to fuel, such as airlines, logistics, paint, tire, and FMCG industries. For example, aviation turbine fuel, ATF, accounts for nearly 40% of an airline's total operating costs. When ATF becomes cheaper, airline profit margins improve directly, resulting either in cheaper air tickets for passengers or higher profits for the companies. The same applies to the logistics sector. Cheaper diesel means lower freight costs, which ultimately leads to reduced prices for final consumer products. The eighth and final benefit is an increase in foreign currency reserves. Lower oil imports mean less dollar outflow, which allows India to retain more dollars in its reserves. These foreign currency reserves are critical during emergencies to keep the economy stable. In fact, during crises like COVID, it was India's strong forex reserves that helped the country withstand external financial pressures. At a time when the entire world is grappling with economic recession, war, and political uncertainty, India has been presented with a rare opportunity, one that not every country is fortunate enough to receive. The ongoing conflict between America and China has opened doors for India that could lead the nation toward a stable, self-reliant, and prosperous future.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified. but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.